it.
We are officially live, everybody! I'm so excited. So Scrap, you're asking if you can apply. You're still working on it. Absolutely. So you guys can continue applying for your chance at one of these sessions at the blog post, which, Daniela, do you have that link handy by any chance?
I'm gonna grab it right now.
Perfect.
And paste it in there.
So she'll post the link in there. You guys can really see what this is all about. And then if you want to get in on it, all you need to do is go to that blog post that she's going to post a link to. Read the post, has a couple questions, and all you have to do is answer those questions in the comments. And every week we're going to pull from those comments. We're going to choose one brand, and we're going to dive in with them for the entire 30 minutes. No bullshit, no fluff, no sugarcoating. We're going to give it to you straight because we want to help you propel shit. We're not about to waste your time. So that's how we're rolling today. Daniela put that in. So today we are diving into, do you know how to say her last name? Charlene McGurry?
My guess was Marjorie.
You're probably better. I'm sorry, girl.
I don't know.
Yeah, she'll school us when she gets on.
I don't know. Yeah, when she gets on, she can tell
I'm
us.
also going to put her URL in the chat so that you guys can see, because there's no screen sharing on Blab. So if you guys want to click on that and then take a look at her site as we go through it, that might be helpful for you to see what we're talking about. So how about I read a little bit about her story and then we dive in. Danielle, does that sound good? Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds great.
And then if you see stuff in the comments, just feel free to interrupt me at any time. I can't see anything.
Do you know, Terry's asking, do you know if I would just try
I always use
browser.
Chrome, so I'm not sure. I don't know if it works on Firefox, but I know I'm on Chrome, so you should be good to go if you use Chrome. And it should work on, regardless if it's Mac, PC, or mobile. You can get Blab on every device, which is why we love it.
I know it wasn't working on Firefox last week, but now it is. So maybe Safari had some.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't use it. I started to get pissed off at Firefox. So I dumped them. All right, so we're talking about Charlene today. Let me tell you a little bit about her story. So she started her blog as a means to keep friends and family updated about her and her husband's life after they moved 600 miles from all the peeps. So it slowly turned into a really epic hobby for her, but now she's ready to turn it into a business. So she loves marriage and working on marriage and avoiding conflicts that are avoidable in marriage, and she really has a passion for sharing all that. So her goal is that she wants to help young wives work on their marriage so that they can build marriages that will really endure the test of time, right? So her struggle right now is she's not really sure, but she likes her brand. I think she's just struggling to really get it out there, get some exposure, and get noticed. And her dream biz would look like a blog where her peeps come to get marriage advice and really build a trust with her and allow her to answer their questions and guide them in the right path for a healthy marriage. So that's her spiel. And now I think Daniela and I have both written some notes. So how do you want to do this, Daniela? You want to just kind of talk about the branding first and then you'll dive in? Sorry, guys, we don't really talk about this.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
So like I said, I posted the link in the comments if you guys want to go over there. So first, I'm the branding kind of side of this duo. So I'm going to talk to you a lot about the visual style, the usability, the design aspects of your website and of your brand identity. So the first thing I wanted to say, though, is that your writing is fucking hilarious. I loved it. I totally read way more than I intended to read. I think that you are completely in touch with your voice, which isn't really a surprise. I think that's the benefit that hobby bloggers have, is that they don't have this limitation that us with business blogs put on ourselves a lot of times because we don't want to sound unprofessional or we don't want to scare people away, and that's not really an issue for hobby. So A++ to you for like just nailing your voice, being very in touch with it, and having a fantastic really friendly and engaging writing style. So I just had to give you credit. Finding your voice is very hard. So you're ahead of the game on that, girl. All right, the next thing I kind of wanted to touch on a little bit is that there is a big difference between a hobby blog and a business blog. And that's one of the reasons that I chose this blog, because I think a lot of us solos are transitioning our hobbies and our passions into something that we really want to monetize. And there's a lot more that needs to go into things when you're segueing to a business. And one of the biggest things is your signature style and really nailing that down. I think you're on the right road, Charlene, so I want to give you a couple tips to help you polish that up. The first being that I want you to work on, I'm actually going to pop over your site while I talk to you about this. So the first thing is your color palette. So it looks like you definitely have a color palette. You have this gold color and this, I don't know what you're calling, pink, lavender, purple, I'm not sure. But what I want you to do is actually define that palette. First of all, it should contain 5 to 6 colors. I always break it down like this. One is going to be your primary iconic color. One is going to be your action color, only used for clickable links, for buttons, for those social icons. You're going to have a light and a dark, which are just for the backgrounds and your text. And then you're going to have 1 to 2 accents. So what I want you to do is really create a full branding color palette and define those uses. Right now you're using a lot of that pink, but you're using them in inconsistent ways. So you wouldn't want, for instance, your side blog. Is that your cat or dog, Daniela?
That's my cat.
I'm like,
he's very loud.
Dying on your side. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I couldn't soldier through that one without saying something. All right, so on your site you have like the hi Charlene, I am, all that's great, but you're using the color that I think might go really nicely for your action color because it is nice and bright and it's going to catch attention. So for instance, you would leave your social icons that color, but you wouldn't have titles that color, you wouldn't have copy that color and that sort of thing. So work on really creating a full branding palette. The next thing is your font theme. So your font theme, I see that you have one, right? So I love you have a serif font, and then you have a script font, and then you have a sans serif font for your body. So you actually do have a font theme. What I'd like to see you do is use that script that you're using, that cursive looking font. I'd like to see you use that a lot more sparingly. In theory, a script or an accent font should be something that's really used to break up from your normal font and really draw attention to special things. So I wouldn't use it in your nav bar. I wouldn't use it too much the way that you have it, right? So I would only use it sparingly so that it really is that thing that draws attention in your typography. Let's see, what else do I have for you? Oh, and I love that you're already using a pattern in a lot of your images, a lot of your blog images. The problem I have is that that pattern is low res. So you're getting the blurry effect in your background and your patterns because that's too small of a file. So I want you to go out there and I want you to source a better pattern for you. And I want you to make sure it's high res so that you don't get a pixelated look. That's just really diluting the power of your brand and it's making things look more amateurish than I want for you. So work on that. Try to choose 1 to 2 patterns. You use them very consistently. So like I said, my only issue is that they're low res and blur is just not good. Whether the pattern kicks ass or not, blur is no bueno. And then I really want you to work on creating some more white space on your website. There's a lot going on. I have a feeling Daniela's going to dive into a lot of that too. But I want to give you a tip for your header. Things are really busy. There's a little bit too much color. I want you to redo that header. And I want you to make that tagline smaller. I want you to try, this is a tip. This is a really great tip when it comes to typography and design. I want you to try to create a box out of your typography. So meaning those hearts, the A and the S of all things, and your tagline would all start and end at the same spot. That's going to create a lot better readability, and balance in your design. And then I want you to create some more space below that tagline. Right now you've got, 3 lines of text, then you got the nav bar, all different colors. Again, work on the color palette, work on creating more white space, and work on creating the last tip is basically, I want you to work on the sidebar and on every page. You have a lot going on. What you want is every page you want one goal. Okay, so whether that goal is on a blog post to leave a comment or to download something or to opt in or to follow you on social media, that's one of the other really big changes when you go from hobby blogger to business blogger, is that you need to create that path that you want a reader and visitor to take, right? So you don't want them to just be like, oh, I'm gonna click over here, maybe click over here, a little bit over here. You want to create your site and design in a way that it takes you through all of your content the way you want them to take it, right? And the actions that you want them to take as they go through the content. So I would definitely work on simplifying some things on your website, specifically your sidebar. And I would work on creating one goal with every page, with every blog post, and really creating a path for a visitor to take that's going to give them all the information they need to be able to hire you or buy from you or whatever it is that you're selling right now. So hopefully that all makes sense. We'll get you on in a couple minutes to talk about that. So it's all yours, Daniela. Why don't you dive in and tell us what you see?
Okay, great. So I just wanted to say I put a link to your mini course on how to create a signature style for your brand.
Perfect.
Because I think that goes more in depth into what you were talking about.
Definitely.
So I definitely agree with what you're saying. And I also think it looks like, I know that you're the design person, but to me, it kind of looks like I think it's lobster. That's like the menu bar.
It is.
But I can't tell if the other fonts are actually lobster or just something very similar. So I don't know.
It's the same, but yeah, okay. Good question. It definitely should be the same.
Yeah. So in terms of the content, I think that this blog is a lot more focused than a lot of blogs I see with hobby blogs. I think that, Charlene, you really stay true to the topic of marriage for the most part. But I would like to see you do that even more so. So you have some random things in there like DIY, faith, recipes, etc. And I know a lot of people would not agree with me on this, but I feel like you need to be really focused. And if it's about marriage, instead of having those be the categories, I would have the categories be a further breakdown on marriage, like date night, things to talk about with your spouse, how to have a faith-based marriage, whatever those subtopics are within the category of marriage. I think for me, I would like to see that be the primary focus and have people be able to find posts on different parts of the topic of marriage as opposed to other things that aren't really related to it. And I think in terms of making it into a business, that would also help, because if you want to make it into a business, the first step is to really work on your email list, which is basically getting more leads into your business. And so I have some different ideas for you on how to get those email addresses and things that you can offer. For example, like right now, I see that your email opt-in box just says every post in your inbox. So I always tell bloggers that is not a great call to action, because people are already getting too many emails. They don't want to get every post in their inbox. So if you could create like I noticed that you had one post that had different things to talk about on date night. So, and you link to the other blogs, but you could create your own post on that. And then you could have those questions as a printable PDF, for example, or you could have a year's worth of date nights or a month's worth of date nights and have that be a printable that people could opt in for. So I think that having a freebie that's directly related to marriage and that could help people with something related to their marriage could be a great first step to transitioning this from a hobby blog into a business blog. And then based on how people react to those freebies, then you can kind of think about products and things that you could actually pay for. So that's kind of a little tip in terms of your content. I also think that a lot of your headlines are really great and they're definitely clickable. So good job with that. There are a few that are a little bit less so. Just going to go to, so like I feel kind of mixed about the monthly goals for February, which is your most current post. Because on one hand, if I were to just see this on Pinterest or something, I wouldn't click through it because it doesn't have an incentive for me to click, for example, but it does show your growth as a blogger. So Dre, what do you think about having those types of posts, like the monthly goal posts and
here's
like that?
To be honest, I'm all about evergreen content. So I don't create something that's not something that I'll be able to use long term. I think that where that could be really valuable for you is with your email list. You want to spoil your email list with shit that the average visitor doesn't get. And sharing transparent things like that would be great. And that will also be helpful for you to get engagement with your list. I find that when I ask really kind of businessy questions, I don't get a whole lot of response from my list, but when I just cut the shit and confess something and ask them for some advice, I get tons of emails. So I would use that stuff a little bit more wisely and really kind of work on your tribe. And what Daniela was saying about the opt-ins is basically exactly what I'm saying about the blog post and about the goal. You really, really want to focus on growing your list. You want to get a lot of that fluff out of the sidebar, and you want to focus on creating, excuse me, like a hairball, excuse me. You want to focus on growing that list, and you want to focus on some content upgrades. And I think Daniela had great, like the date night, like which of us don't want that? Like that's a great one. And so go back through your posts, because chances are you already have posts that you could just turn into a guide. I mean, honestly, take them off your site and make them a guide. That is the easiest way to create an opt-in offer. And then really focus that, like create some kind of branded image that you can go back and shove into your top posts, and it has some kind of call to action about sign up for your list. And like Danielle said, be really specific, like grab the 50 date night ideas or whatever it is that you name your freebie, and then put something at the bottom of all of your most popular posts and start going back and then start cleaning them up as you do these images. And that'll make it a little bit less overwhelming to go through. My guess is because you're a hobby blogger, you have a shit ton of blog posts. And then one more thing that I didn't really touch on, and tell me, you guys, if you can hear an echo, because I'm kind of retarded right now, so I'm hearing an echo, so I'm a little spazzed. But I want you to create some templates, and I talk about that in the signature style mini course that Daniela put a link in there for. I want you to have more consistency in your blog images. So create one template to start, and then create 2 or 3 more later, and then use those and update your blog images. That will help you gain a lot of brand recognition on social media, a lot. And it's also going to make it a hell of a lot easier to create your images. So I want you to dive into some content. I have another mini course that I'll post a link to that is how to create a branded blog image. And I really want you to take both of those, because I think your signature style needs to be polished up, and the returns that you're going to get from that, as far as your exposure and getting the attention and building some trust and loyalty with your peeps on social media, because they can spot you a mile away, it's going to do wonders for the biz.
And I think just to piggyback off of that, with your content, you can do the same thing. So when I was talking about being really specific about marriage tips, like when people think of you, they should think, oh, she's the marriage woman. She's the one that I go to for marriage tips. So I feel like with a lot of lifestyle bloggers, the blogs can kind of all look very similar. But if you focus on that specific content, then I feel like you will start getting that brand recognition for your content as well. So you can do that with your content and with your branding as well.
So they're saying they hear a little echo. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't hear like your voice echoing back or my own, but I hear like a little disturbance, if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you should change your headphones or something. I don't know. Now I can't hear you at all.
Okay, so I took the speaker off. I don't know why this is happening. Sorry, guys. I'll try to figure it out. Lou,
they get to hear what you say twice, so it's actually
because it's really important. Damn it. So I just want to answer a question. Credit Union Land is asking that he just joined. What kind of reviews do? We do brand reviews. So we dive into brand from a blogging and a branding standpoint. And that's what we're all about. And that's what Superhero Sessions is all about. So hopefully that answered the question. Why don't we let Charlene come on and get some questions and see if she has any other cues we can aid.
Yeah.
Only when
I'm excited to talk to her.
only when I talk is there an echo.
It happens.
We have another question from Jenny while Charlene gets on. Do you have to brand all of your blog images or just the one for each post? Or just one for each post? I think that is all your blog images.
Well, a lot of people have more images on each post. I've actually heard that you can get more repins if you have multiple branded images for each post.
Yeah, I would brand. So to answer that question, if that's what you mean, yeah, I would brand them because then you can just pin them and use them on social media too. So you don't want them to look disjointed, but that might be when you spice things up with different templates.
And if you're just having like pictures of, like if you're doing a DIY project and you're just having pictures of the steps, you could just, I say to at least put your logo, because then people can't just like take your photo and say it's theirs, for example.
Absolutely.
So,
what's up, Charlene?
Yeah.
Hi, Charlene.
So, what do you think? What questions do you have? What can we answer?
Well, it was definitely all very helpful. I don't really think I have any specific questions right now. I don't know. You were both very helpful. Thanks.
Okay, good. Well, we just wanted to get you on and see if we covered anything that you had questions about. So I think you have like lots of homework, but so much potential. Like I said, I mean, you're there. It's just this transition that you have to make, and there is some work that needs to be done when you go from hobby to pro. But you have so much content now. It's a matter of polishing it up, packaging it in a way that's going to get you the most out of it. So work on that, and I think that you're going to be leaps and bounds ahead of where you are very quickly if you can really implement everything that we told you.
Okay.
Do you feel like? Oh, sorry. Keep going.
I've been thinking about freebies for an email list, and I just haven't jumped into it because I'm, I don't know, skeptical about what I have to offer. I guess not very confident. Sorry, that's my dog making noise.
Oh, don't worry. Danielle has a cat dying over there. Apparently.
She is 19 years old.
Oh, I kind of feel bad. That's open mouth and her foot.
She's very old. She doesn't understand what you said, though, so it's okay.
It's a mindset thing, and I totally get it. You have to know that you know exactly what you're talking about, that people absolutely can learn from you. It is a confidence thing, but doing these things and you'll start getting the feedback from people that are so appreciative that you helped them, and that it'll slowly step you through, and eventually you will own it. But for right now, this is where, like, I do believe in the whole fake it till you make it shit, because you have to believe even before you have any really good reason to. Honestly, like, we all did it. We started and we're like, who the fuck wants to learn from me? Like, we don't really know. But you have to just be fierce about who you are. Like I said, you already know your voice. You already know who you are. You already know your take and your approach. Now it's just that confidence about, you can make this a business, but you got to own that, girl. If you want it, you got to own it.
Yeah, I actually was going to say something about that in terms of getting focused, because I feel like a lot of bloggers don't get focused because they don't have the confidence. Do you feel like that at all? Like, I don't want to become like the marriage woman because who am I to be the marriage woman?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Is that part of it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you have great transparency. Like, I was just cracking up about the conversations with you and your husband in the car, like fucking hilarious. So what I find is that the transparency takes that all away. You're not a marriage, like, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean that the shit doesn't go wrong in your marriage, or that like marriage is easy, or that there's a formula, or that you know and have every answer. So just be transparent about things, you know what I mean? And own it. Say, like, look, this is what I do, this is what I'm about, this is what I'm passionate about. I love talking about it. It's a hugely important part of my life. Like, this is why it's important. And people will listen to you that get it, that like your humor, that like the way you talk about it. But be transparent. Don't feel like you have to have every answer. Don't feel like you're the end all be all marriage guru. Just own that you know what you're talking about, and you're not apologetic about how you share your advice. People are going to find you and love you because of how confident you are in your writing voice.
Okay.
Yeah. And when it comes to marriage, no one knows what they're doing. So everyone's kind of just bubbling through it and figuring it out day by day. So I think that like when I read your blog, like I was just talking to my husband and I was like, hey, why don't we go on a date night every week? If Charlene can do it, I can do it too. So, I feel like it's, with marriage, like no one knows what they're doing, but it's also helpful to have that stuff to read about it, to kind of put some more effort into it and make it better. You know what I mean?
Or if nothing else, to just know that, yeah, there are others out there that totally admit, like, yeah, it's a crapshoot every day, but we try. You know what I mean? Like the camaraderie between you all do love, and they're so committed to your marriages, but you're like, I don't know, some days I want to kill him, some days I love him. Like, just to create that community for people to be able to kind of vent or talk about or share their funny, stories, or share the habits that drive them nuts about their husband. Like, create that spot where it's just a really easy breezy place to share shit, to share tips, to share, ideas. And I promise you, with that voice and that steadfast, like the right people are going to find you because you're so clear on that.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other thing about creating community is if you want to create community, this is kind of a different topic, but I think what's worked for me the best, and I think for Dre also, is having a Facebook group and taking it off the blog and creating a space for people to actually engage with each other. So if you wanted to do that, or create like a 30-day have a better marriage challenge, or have it go on a date night every week this month challenge, or something like events, I think that where a lot of bloggers, like where you could really grow and do something different, is have other events that are off of your blog, challenges and a community and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, and that can in and of itself be one of your opt-in offers, is that you just created this community.
Exactly.
So that you don't need to create anything but your Facebook group, and a nice branded image to promote it and to put as the header. And you could use that as, your opt-in before you have time to create a guide or a course or a challenge or something like that. So, don't feel like you have to recreate the wheel. You got a lot of shit on that, a lot of epic shit on that blog. So just start repackaging it in a way that you can really start building a tribe, because I think that's going to be key for you, is just creating that spot, that hangout spot for people. So I think a group is a great thing that you might really, really want to consider.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think a lot of women want to talk about their marriages and want to connect around that, and
but maybe not like publicly, you know what I mean? That's why
like
group,
in a closed,
right? So they might not share as much with you on the blog, but they will in email. I promise you'll get some crazy emails and some epic emails, and they will in your group. So it's kind of like creating that safe spot for them. It might be harder to really kind of lay things out publicly. So those are the other two benefits of really focusing your efforts on building a list and building a community.
And then with Facebook groups, once they start to get big enough, people just, like, Facebook basically advertises it for you. So you get organic growth with it. Whereas with a regular opt-in, you just have to work for every sign up. So
yeah, and I feel like a group people share more. So for instance, you know, if Danielle is going to hang out with her girlfriends and she's in your group and it's like, you know, just a blast and hilarious and such a great place, like she's going to automatically share that with her peeps. So you're going to be able to grow the community a lot faster because word of mouth, especially in that kind of niche. I mean, if all my girlfriends want to do it, you know what I mean? Like, that's exactly what I would share on a girls' night. And so, you know, you can really get the exposure out there. And you can create tons of fun things, you know, daily themes and, you know, overshares and, you know, share your hubby's most, you know, annoying habit. Like, you could create so many fun things that, yeah, I mean, think about it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I want you to start it so I can join it and
see. You already have your
participate.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, girl. Well, hopefully that was helpful, and you can, of course, ping us, either of us in the group. I think you're in Danielle's group, so you could ping either of us in the group or email us or whatever. But hopefully we threw down some dope shit that you'll be able to take and run with.
For sure. Yeah. Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
Well, this was so fun, except for my echo. Sorry, guys. But we will be doing this every week. We will get a little bit better with our process. I will hopefully get to the bottom of this echo because I've never had this goddamn issue on Blab. But hopefully that was really helpful for you guys. I am so excited. We got 65 peeps. I know, 65.
I know. This was great. And I'm gonna be picking the next person tomorrow. So if you haven't applied yet, go to that post that I posted in the beginning, and I'll post it again now, and apply for your own brand review.
And I was thinking, Danielle, now that we're just live and signing off, I wanted to create a hashtag for us. So what do you think about, is superhero sesh too long? Or hero
I
sesh?
think that's fine. Superhero sesh or no bullshit brand review. It's a little long.
Like,
I think superhero sesh works.
If you're still here, what do you think? Do you think it should be superhero sesh or hero sesh? I don't know, brand sesh. I don't know what it should be. And
Mish Queen says, will the session always be in this same link, or will it come in an email?
It will. We will both be posting it in our community for sure every week. It's at a different link. The replay will always be at the same link. So when we're done, anyone who didn't watch it can come to this exact link, and it will just be the replay instead of us live. But every week it will be a different link. I don't know, Danielle, are you going to send it through email? I don't know if I'm going to send.
I'm thinking that maybe we could create like a page and just have it embedded into that page so that people could go to it.
Ooh.
I don't know. That could be.
But can we do that live? I don't know if we can embed live though.
Oh, I have no idea how that works.
We're all learning this, guys. Yeah. But we will keep you informed in our groups at the very least. So get in one of our groups or both of our groups. Like, that's the place that I'm going to share the shit. I share everything I do in the group. I don't always email everything because I don't want to be that bitch that's always emailing you. Frankly.
What's your group's name again? Badass Solopreneur Society?
Yes.
Is that?
Yeah. So
I'll write the names. I wrote mine, and I'll write. So if you guys aren't in blogging on your own terms and Badass Solopreneur Society,
post a link. Cool. I'm gonna post a link to mine. Yeah.
Okay.
So here's a link to mine.
Mine too.
We'll work on the hashtag, but let us know in our groups if you come up with a better name than Superhero Sesh. So be Sesh as in SESH. I don't know if that's too complicated or long. But anyway, it was a blast, you guys. We will be back this same time, same place next week with a new brand to dive into. I hope this was super valuable, and I love you guys. Peace out.
Bye, guys. Love you.